清い人間なんてこの世にいるはずがない。自分の中に殺す道理さえあれば罪悪感なんぞに苦しまない。道理をやろうか。やれよ。お前もできる。お前だって俺と同じはずだ。
私は殺さない。
There is an anime about war veterans, hidden treasure, brutal survival, and cooking better food than most culinary shows. It's violent, it's hilarious, it's emotional, it's educational, and somehow, almost nobody is talking about it. This is Golden Kamuy, and it might be one of the greatest anime you've never watched. So, our story takes place between the early 1900s Japan, right after a brutal war, specifically the Japanese Russo War. The anime follows Sachi Sugimoto, a soldier who survived the impossible. A man known as the immortal Sugimoto. Its survival didn't bring him peace. It gave him a mission. Somewhere in the frozen wilderness of Hokkaido lies a legendary hidden fortune. Not just lost, but deliberately hidden. Protected by secrets and hunted by some of the most dangerous people imaginable. Soldiers, prisoners, hunters, survivors. Every single one of them wants the treasure, and every one of them is willing to kill for it. At first glance, Golden Kamuy looks like a simple treasure hunt story. But it's not. It's a survival story. It's a war story. It's a historical story. Psychological. And somehow, it's one of the funniest anime ever made. The anime can go from brutal violence to absurd comedy, to heartfelt, emotional moments, all within minutes, and it never feels out of place, not once, because the characters feel real. Not heroes, not villains, just people. Broken people. Dangerous people. Humans. Golden Kamuy's world is one of the greatest strengths. This isn't fantasy. It's real history. The anime explores post-war Japan, survival in the harsh northern wilderness, and the culture of the indigenous Ainu people. You learn how people hunted, how they survived the winter, how they cooked, how they lived. Every detail feels authentic. Not just a background, but a part of the story itself. The environment isn't just scenery. It's an enemy. It's a teacher. And sometimes, it's the only thing keeping the characters alive. Golden Kamuy has some of the most unique characters in anime, not because they're flashy or unpredictable, but because everyone has their own goals, everyone has their own past, your own reasons for chasing this hidden treasure. Some will make you laugh, some will outright terrify you, and some will just break your heart. And some of them will do all three. No one is purely good or evil, and that's what makes every encounter feel dangerous. You never know what'll happen next. Golden Kamuy isn't underrated because it's bad. It's underrated just because it's different. It doesn't rely on all these flashy power systems. It doesn't follow the typical anime formula. It tells a grounded, mature story. It's a story about survival, trauma, greed, humanity, and all the worst parts of it. Once you start watching, it's impossible to forget. You'll get locked in, you won't stop watching it. You realize it's 4 in the morning and you have to be up in 2 hours and go, damn, Golden Kamuy, it's not just a treasure hunt. The story is about what people are willing to do to survive, what they're willing to protect, what they're willing to become. Now, if you're looking for a super intense anime, something that's very emotional, unpredictable, and just all around unique, and trust me, you're not ready for it. It's great. The comedy, the timing, the emotional stories, the gripping tales, it's something that will definitely keep you hooked. The story follows Sachi Sugimoto, a war veteran known for his innate ability to survive some of the most impossible situations. After the war, he travels to the harsh wilderness of Hokkaido with one goal in mind. He comes home with a promise he is determined to fulfill for his deceased friend he lost in the war. He promised to send his friend's blind wife to America to get her eyes fixed with America's top doctors. A trip that would cost a small fortune. However, while out panning for gold and trying to find this fortune, he runs into an old man who tells him the story of this incredible mass fortune that is hidden, deliberately hidden, but only by solving a mystery that is dangerous and complex. The clues are scattered, and recovering them puts Sugimoto directly into the path of not only soldiers, but criminals and other hunters who also want this treasure all to themselves. Along the way, he teams up with a skilled survival expert named a Sherpa. She knows the land better than anyone. She is one of the indigenous people who live in Hokkaido, the Ainu. Together, they navigate brutal environments, outsmart their enemies, uncover the truth behind the mysterious gold. As they travel deeper into the wilderness, they realize the treasure isn't the only thing at stake, because everyone chasing it has their own reasons, their own past, and their own secrets. The clues to the gold are written down, not in the traditional sense anyways. They're not written on paper, carved in a stone, or stored in one place. In fact, they're hidden in a much darker and more dangerous way. There was a prison. A man named No Parabu decided he wanted to make sure people could find the gold, so he hid clues and tattoos across multiple prisoners. Each prisoner carries a piece of the overall map tattooed onto their skin. On its own, each tattoo looks like a completely random design, but when all the tattoos are brought together in the correct order, they form a complete map leading to the hidden gold. What this means is not one person has the full location. These clues are literally walking around. They may not even be alive anymore. And finding the treasure requires locating the right people, because this hunt isn't about solving riddles and finding secret clues carved in stone. It's about tracking down people, dangerous people. These people that have that tattoos, they're not just typical prisoners. These are some of the worst that society has to offer, and they all escaped. They're not just sitting in a cell waiting for somebody to come by and read the map that's on their skin. They are escaped dangerous criminals that will do anything to either find the gold themselves or to survive. Our counter to Sugimoto is Lieutenant Tsurumi. At first, he may just seem like a typical high-ranking officer in the military, someone that wants to find this gold for the government or whatever. But you'd be wrong. In fact, not only is he the leader of a group of highly trained soldiers, but he's actually the leader of the biggest groups looking for the gold. He's very calm, intelligent, and eerily patient. He's always several steps ahead and always has a plan or a contingency for something. The scary part is that he's super unpredictable and psychologically complex. He's friendly, charismatic, calm, professional, and stupidly intimidating. The way he smiles when he says something or acts kind can just make you feel sheer terror. Tsurumi, he's not driven by greed. A lot of the characters have their own reasons for finding the gold, like I've mentioned. But Tsurumi, he's got bigger goals. He's a strategist, a manipulator, a visionary even. He inspires intense loyalty from all of his soldiers, and many of them would follow him without question. In fact, he doesn't even rely on brute strength. He wins psychologically. Planning, control. The thing about Lieutenant Tsurumi is he's widely considered one of the best parts of the series because he's a great villain. He steals every scene he's in. He's intelligent, not just powerful. And I'm not talking just in the sense of, like, as an officer and strength and all that. No. He's powerful in many ways. He feels very realistic and human, and psychologically, he is super fascinating. If you're like me and enjoy delving into the psychological aspects of characters, what drives them, Tsurumi, he's S tier for that kind of stuff. Lieutenant Tsurumi, he's not just hunting the gold, he's controlling the entire game. So, when I say that he's controlling the game, I mean it. He literally shapes the entire conflict around this hidden gold. He has an entire arsenal of resources. He has the resources, the weapons, and the intelligent networks, and the soldiers to carry out every order he gives. And the fact that they are loyal to a fault. They are so loyal, in fact, they're probably willing to kill anybody or anything to get the gold or whatever objective he puts out. He's commanding this hunt for this gold on a massive scale. He's got the resources of the entire Japanese army, and his greatest weapon isn't a gun or a person or anything like that. It's his own mind. He manipulates people's emotion and turns these people into tools for his plans. He doesn't rely on force. He just asks people to do something, and they do it. So yes, Golden Kamuy doesn't rely on your typical flashy anime power moves or anime tropes, but instead it tells a grounded, mature story about survival, war, and human nature. The conflicts, they feel real. Every decision matters. You're watching people trying to survive, trying to find this goal to better their own lives. Every character has their own motivations, their own pasts, and every character has their own reasons for finding this goal. No one feels one-dimensional. Even the side characters will feel super important. You'll never know who to trust. Every interaction will feel either very meaningful, it'll leave you feeling either very tense or anxious, and in the next minute, you'll be laughing your ass off.
お前が書いたのか。そうだ、いいぞ。俺も尾形に撃たれたんだ。わかるか？バーン。待て、書いてやる。
The story itself has very intense action when it does happen. There will be psychological mind games that'll have you second-guessing the character's motives. You'll have emotional character moments that will make you feel for a character, even though just seconds ago, you absolutely hated their guts. The comedy has perfect timing. It doesn't feel off. It's not like that shitty, cheesy Marvel comedy. But in fact, it feels like it fits in the world itself. It doesn't feel like just the background. It's always part of a story. The harsh wilderness, the survival elements, and even the historical setting make everything feel authentic and grounded, to the point you'll be going, is this based on a true story? In fact, there's a lot of moments in the anime that actually reference historical moments, and I highly recommend you go and do the research on those historical moments they talk about, because they do in fact exist. They are real. They don't delve deep, but they do mention real life events. Watching this anime doesn't feel like watching fiction. It feels like watching a real struggle unfold. The antagonists, they're not always just evil. At least, not for the sake of it. They're intelligent, dangerous, and driven by their own goals. So if you're looking for an anime that perfectly blends action, story, comedy, tension, and just overall emotional depth, this is one of the few anime I can say that does it perfectly. This anime can be brutal, funny, intense, heartfelt, and make you feel anxious and on the edge of your seat all in the same episode. Sometimes, only within seconds, you can feel almost all four emotions out of one scene. Golden Kamuy, it's not just a treasure hunt. Like I said, it's about survival. It's about ambition. It's about the lengths that people will go to. In the frozen wilderness of Hokkaido, there's no such things as heroes or villains, only survivors. Soldiers who lost their purpose, hunters chasing something they can never get back, and people willing to risk everything for one last chance at a meaning of their own lives. Golden Kamuy isn't about the gold. It's about what people become when they have nothing left to lose. Every step forward is dangerous. Every ally could turn enemy. And every choice leaves a mark. This isn't a story that holds your hand. It throws you into the cold and tells you to survive. And once you watch it, you'll understand why I've told you it is one of the greatest underrated anime in recent days. So, do yourself a favor and go watch it. I promise you will not regret it, and you'll enjoy every second of Golden Kamuy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And stay tuned for more.